lingering financial overwhelm so many of us feel when managing our money. Look, whether you're meticulously tracking every single penny or you kind of just close your eyes and hope for the best every time you swipe your card, getting a solid grip on your personal finances is absolutely one of the most empowering things you can do. Today, we're going to look at some frankly fascinating data on how we actually spend, and then we're going to build a clear, actionable roadmap to financial wellness, all based on expert research. We're going to start with this pretty shocking figure from Bankrate. Get this, 64% of US cardholders save their payment info online, even though they still have safety concerns. Just think about that for a second. We all know the risks of data breaches, right? Yet nearly 2/3 of us hit that save card for next time button anyway. Why? Well, because it's easy. It effectively removes all the friction from spending. You don't have to get up, hunt down your wallet, and type in those 16 digits. You literally just click a button and boom, your item is on its way. And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the flip side of all that convenience. A Federal Reserve report shows that 37% of adults can't even cover a $400 cash emergency out of pocket. We live in an era where spending money has never been easier, but holding on to it, that's never felt harder. When you combine that frictionless spending with a rising cost of living, you end up with a massive portion of the population living right on the edge, totally vulnerable to a single flat tire or a surprise medical bill. So how do we fix this? Here is our roadmap. 1. The state of our wallets. 2. Step 1. Take control. 3. Finding your budgeting style. 4. Prepare for the unexpected. And 5. Progress towards your goals. Let's kick things off with Section 1, the state of our wallets. To really understand the invisible traps that are draining our accounts today, we have to look at the psychology of spending. When you save your card data online and use those super smooth apps, you completely bypass the mental pain of paying. And that leads directly to some massive impulse shopping numbers. According to Bankrate, 83% of US adults have made an impulse purchase, and nearly 4 in 10 made one just in the past month. It's wild. When money is just a digital number on a screen, our brains don't process the transaction as a true loss of resources. The friction is completely gone, and the impulse just takes over. Moving right along to Section 2, Step 1, take control. This brings us to Vanguard's first major step on our journey, taking absolute control of your day-to-day cash flow. Notice how Vanguard prioritizes the absolute basics here. Just look at the list: budgeting consistently, maximizing employer-matched savings, and attacking high-interest debt first. If your employer offers a 401k match, you guys, that is literally free money. Don't leave it on the table. And paying the minimums on your regular debt while aggressively targeting high-interest traps like credit cards and payday loans instantly frees up your future cash flow. But remember, everything on this list relies entirely on that very first bullet point, creating a budget, which perfectly tees up Section 3, finding your budgeting style. So how do you actually budget without feeling incredibly overwhelmed? The secret is finding the style that clicks for you. The best budget is always just the one you can actually stick to. One highly effective, super popular rule is the 50-30-20 method. It clearly splits your income between basic necessities, discretionary wants, and crucial savings. So 50% covers things like rent, groceries, and utilities. 30% is for the fun stuff, dining out, entertainment, maybe that impulse buy we talked about earlier. And then 20% is firmly locked in for your future, so paying down debt or building savings. It's a fantastic high-level approach if you hate tracking individual receipts but still want clear boundaries. Now, if you struggle with impulse buys, and hey, we've all been there, contrast the physical friction of withdrawing cash and putting it into labeled category envelopes against an MIT study showing people spend up to 100% more when using cards. This is the classic cash envelope system. Think about it. When you hand over a crisp $20 bill at the grocery store, your brain genuinely registers the loss. And when the groceries envelope is empty, you simply stop spending. It is the ultimate antidote to frictionless digital spending. But hey, if you prefer your phone to paper envelopes, here's a quick breakdown of some truly free trackers, mapping apps to your specific lifestyle. For instance, the Finny blog highlights how their app focuses on total privacy. No bank syncing, everything stays right on your device. Alternatively, if you love the idea of envelopes but want it digital, Good Budget offers a great virtual envelope method. And if you just want to log expenses in under 5 seconds flat, Monify is built for absolute speed. Honestly, the tool you choose matters way less than the actual habit of using it. All right, on to Section 4. Prepare for the unexpected. Okay, so once your daily spending is tracked, you must prepare for the unexpected so a random flat tire doesn't completely derail your life. Because here is a universal truth: the unexpected will happen, It's never a matter of if, it's just when. Vanguard's second pillar brilliantly separates emergency savings into two distinct buckets. First, you keep at least $2,000 in a highly liquid transactional checking or savings account for immediate spending shocks, again, like that flat tire. Second, you work toward a larger 3 to 6 month contingency reserve for a major income shock, like a sudden job loss. That one can be kept in slightly more accessible investments like a taxable account or a Roth IRA. Actually calculating that 3-month reserve is easier than you'd think. Page 1 Economics suggests this ridiculously simple formula. Track your expenses for a month, isolate your pure essentials, like rent and groceries, and multiply that figure by 3. Please do not include your streaming services or random takeout in this calculation. If your bare bones survival number is $2,000 a month, your initial target for that contingency fund is $6,000. Doing this makes a massive, potentially intimidating goal feel structured and totally achievable. Now, if you're wondering how to fund that emergency account fast, you can schedule specific no-spend days during the week. Use these strict rules to instantly turbocharge your savings rate. The concept, which is outlined by Western and Southern, is basically a gamified way to save. You allow essentials like gas and groceries, but absolutely forbid takeout, online shopping, or unplanned snacks for a full 24-hour period. Just literally mark these days in your calendar. It's a simple, short-term challenge that yields incredibly fast results for your emergency fund. And that brings us to Section 5, Progress Toward Your Goals. With your budget set and your safety net properly built, we finally arrive at the phase everyone looks forward to, progressing toward long-term wealth. We're moving to offense here. As Vanguard outlines, this is where you can optimize your retirement accounts, invest in taxable funds for things like a home down payment, and begin strategically tackling your lower interest loans. Once the high interest credit cards are cleared out and your emergency fund is flush, you can start using tax-advantaged accounts like IRAs or HSAs to keep more of what you earn. It's all about increasing your investment capacity. And if you're building an independent income, whether through gig work or a small business, you might feel like you need massive upfront capital to get anywhere, but you really don't. Just think about the story of a hardworking young man named Assad. He lived in a small village and dreamed of earning an honest income right in his hometown. So with almost no money, he bought a few metal pipes, some wire mesh, and a roofing sheet. He spent the entire day measuring, cutting, and welding, and by sunset, he had built a tiny chicken coop. The next day, he brought home just 6 chickens. His neighbors actually laughed at him, saying, "You can't build a successful business with just a few chickens." But Assad ignored the noise. He woke up early, kept them comfortable, and learned everything he could. When they started laying fresh, high-quality eggs, people from all over came to buy them. With his earnings, he didn't splurge. He built a larger coop and bought more chickens. Just like Assad reinvested in his flock, independent workers can apply these exact principles today. You automatically sweep 25 to 30% of every invoice into a separate account for taxes and reinvestment, and utilize things like a solo 401k to steadily build your own empire, one small step at a time. As Assad learned on his farm, every big success truly starts with one small step. If you stay consistent, patient, and work honestly, even a tiny beginning can lead to an incredibly bright future. The same goes for your finances. Whether you use paper envelopes, a digital app like Finny, or the 50-30-20 rule, the most important part of this whole framework is simply starting. You now have the roadmap to take control, prepare, and progress. So the only question left for you is, what small step will you take to master your wallet?